Good Friday morning. It's Jerry Miller. Welcome to Real Talk. This is an insider's guide to real estate across Charlottesville, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world. We are live on the I Love CVille Network. Join us in the discussion by sharing your perspective in the comments section of 12 Facebook pages that you're watching this show upon. This show, of course, powered by the Yes Team Realtors, Keith and Yonna Smith, trusted advisors in the real estate game. A lot of folks watching the program right now, and I think it has to do with our guest, Mac Weems, in the house, in our studio on Market Street in the Macklin building. We're very excited to welcome a fabulous pillar of our community and an entrepreneur that's doing big-time things at State Farm. We'll talk about that transition. Judah Wickhauer, why don't we go to the two-shot first and welcome our star, Keith Smith, to the program. Good morning, Keith. How are you, my friend?
I am doing great, and I'm just loving on that shirt you got on.
Thank
at the
you.
moment.
Thank you very much.
I did not notice that until just now.
A little Brooks Brothers action, courtesy of the better half.
So, oh, really?
Yes.
I'm going to have to share that with my wife, because I seem to do all my buying for my clothes by myself.
I do not do that. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. Like I always say, if I was doing any better, it'd be illegal. So we're doing great. I'm super excited about this show. We talk about this all the time, about bringing rock stars on, and the young lady sitting across from both of us here is surely that. We've known each other for a long time, and I've been anxious and excited about this opportunity. So I'm just going to step a little bit out of the way and let you kick off the intros, and we'll get into it.
I love it. Mac Weems, studio camera, Judah Wickhauer. Good morning, Mac.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Our pleasure. We like to start with the who, what, when, where, why of our guests.
Okay.
The passions, the hobbies, what makes you tick, Mac.
Okay.
The show is yours.
Good. Well, I am Mac Weems. I grew up about 30 miles from here in Waynesboro, Virginia. I'm from a huge family. An interesting fact about me is I'm a triplet, and I had identical twins. So I'm just surrounded by multiples in my family, all sisters. And I think two of the most driving forces in my life probably were my father. He was an entrepreneur. He was a banker. Later in his career, he was a developer and also a real estate investor. And so I kind of followed in his footsteps, went into banking, and became a commercial banker for most of my career, helping other people do those very things. He was a really hard worker and really passionate about his community, very invested in Waynesboro, and just really somebody that made a huge impact on me. In fact, I think probably the first vehicle I ever drove was a forklift at his building supply company.
Oh, wow.
So he put me to work early,
That's awesome.
doing collection calls, meeting with our clients. I think I was probably 14 years old. So I think I really developed a love of small business and an admiration for entrepreneurs then. Another big influence in my life was my grandfather. He went here to UVA back during the Depression. He became a doctor, moved to Waynesboro, and started the first hospital there. And he was just one of these crazy people that worked until he was well into his 80s. He delivered over 4,000 babies in Waynesboro. Had a huge farm. He always had dirt under his fingernails, did cattle ranching, had a huge garden. And I just really always admired how he made an impact on our community. I was always really proud of that. So I've really tried to do that in my own career here in Charlottesville. I've been here for about 25 years and have raised my family here. My husband is a historian at Monticello.
Nice.
Yeah, and we're empty nesters. Our daughters just went away to college at William & Mary. And,
Go Tribe.
That's right. And I think during that transition, something shifted in me. And I was like, I just want a little something more. And so I started looking around to buy a business, sat down with a good friend of mine who was an executive at State Farm, and she's like, I'm looking for agents. And we had about 4 or 5 of those conversations before I finally decided to listen to her. And took about a year thinking about doing this and took the plunge. So I'm really excited. I opened my doors on October 1st. My husband has been instrumental in supporting me every step of the way, from walking away from a really good career with 2 girls in college to helping me study to prepping me for this interview this morning. So I want to thank Robert.
That was the best first answer we've ever had, right?
I literally am taking notes down going, I've known Mac for a while. And
Shout out to hubby.
How many months have we been doing this?
We've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we're done.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any
Matt
better.
Weems, ladies and gentlemen.
Knocks it out of the ballpark. First
Give it a
answer.
like and a share. I got a question. I'm going to throw it to you. What was it like for your dad, who's been instrumental and influencing your life, to grow up with triplets, girls?
Yeah.
I mean, that's no easy task,
No.
right?
There were 5 girls in my family, and
Literally, that was my question.
it was challenging.
Yeah,
I mean,
wow.
I remember one time him coming to the beach, and we had to leave the beach and go to a funeral, and we're like, bring our black shoes, and he brought every pair of black shoes in the house. He just didn't want to be wrong. So he was great. He was very supportive of us. But he did put us to work early. He had a very strong work ethic, believed that women could do anything men could do. And I think he formed all of us into very strong, independent women, which is really amazing. My mother was a homemaker and didn't really have a vision for that during her life.
So I just fell in love with your father.
Yeah. You can relate.
Oh man, I totally can relate. And my numbers aren't quite that large. I have
Right.
2 daughters, but and I'm feverishly taking notes as you're speaking because it's just so much to unpack there. But I did this with our daughters, right? They, as you know, I did not know your father was in the development business and all that great stuff. And but I used to do that with my girls. They could operate. I could show you pictures on my phone. They can operate track hose and skid steers, and
Right.
and I made both of them learn how to drive a stick shift
Oh, yeah.
because. But that mindset that your father has as the father of young women now, you can do anything a man can do, and if a man tells you you can't do it,
That's right.
go prove him wrong.
He used to make us go chop wood with him, and he'd make us hold the wedge while he hit the sledgehammer,
cool.
and it terrified me. I mean, I really think I've been scarred for life from that one.
Oh, come on now.
That one job. But
It built character. But man, I tell you, we literally had the same kind of thing. I did literally the same thing with my kids, and I don't know if any of them's watching, but I remember when our oldest, Yasmina, I was teaching her how to drive a stick shift, and middle of Route 53, she got pissed, got frustrated, got out of the car and left the car there.
did she really?
Literally.
Did you have to go pick it up?
No, I was in the passenger
You
seat.
were in the past. What were you doing to her? Were you driving her crazy?
Maybe. I might have done that.
You're riding the clutch too hard.
I think you were in the car.
Yeah, burning the clutch.
Why is my head bouncing off the
James Watson, your brother-in-law, just
Hey.
shared the post. Stuart's draft is all over the show right now. So is Waynesboro. Susan Rogers giving you some love.
Oh,
Catherine
great.
Hedges
Yeah.
giving you some
Yeah.
love. Rachel Burns, hello. She's giving you some props.
great.
All right, throw this to you. How about the flip book? And you've kind of already done it. We call it the birth story. Talk about schooling. Talk about how you got into banking.
Yeah,
Your
so-
experience building relationships in banking that are going to pay dividends now that you're an entrepreneur at State Farm.
Exactly. So, I feel like I had a pretty straight line life. I was always kind of the dutiful daughter. I went to James Madison University, got out, went into banking immediately. And I worked for several banks in Richmond, including Crestar. I was an auditor, so I have a really good finance and auditing background. I moved to Northern Virginia and became an underwriter in small business banking, a centralized underwriter. And my boss is like, we have you in the wrong job. We need to put you out meeting with people, and you need to be a salesperson. So I was about 26 years old. I'd never sold anything in my life. I was in D.C., a community I was unfamiliar with. And she just kind of threw me to the wolves. I think I got to shadow another banker for about a day. But I really kind of learned on my own and did that for about 5 years, and then moved to Charlottesville, married my husband, and did small business banking for many years. So I love businesses, and I think a lot of it comes from my family owning and operating a business, understanding the challenges that go along with that. I also ran a credit union here in town for about 7 years, so I really got...
Which one?
Sperry Marine Credit
Oh, yeah.
Union.
Good for
And
you.
so I got the experience of having my own business with that, the staffing, worrying about cash flow, how do you fund things, the growth. And I really enjoyed that as well. So the last 5 years of my career, I've been working in larger commercial deals, and I feel like that's taken me away from what I'm really, really good at. I'm working with executive teams, CFOs, and that sort of thing. It's fun. But what I really enjoy is working with my neighbors, working with people that I see at swim practice, and people that I go to church with, and people that I'm on boards with. So I was really doing some soul searching, and I really think that insurance kind of hits on all cylinders. Like, it really kind of answers my why. Like, I'm really motivated by and inspired by people. And I think what better way to serve them than to help protect them and their families. And then, like you just said, it really helps me to capitalize on all those relationships I've built throughout the years, because I am a relationship person. I think any of my clients or anybody that sees me on Facebook right now would say that I am.
It's so obvious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think long-term relationships are very, very important to me, working through things, working with people, listening to them. And it's been fun. You really get to get involved in people's lives and figure out what's important to them now and how I can help them.
We talk about this all the time. We're not in, and we talked about it on the way over here, we're not in the house buying and selling business. Jerry's really not in the advertisement business, and you're really not in the insurance business. We're all in the relationship business. We're
Exactly.
about building relationships. I know we want to talk a little bit about insurance, but as everybody knows, this is a real estate show.
Yeah.
And your opening monologue, maybe was that
Yeah.
was that good? Outstanding monologue. You mentioned the word Waynesboro, which I did not know you were from Waynesboro. So we talk about this all the time about what the best or the next big real estate market is, and we talked a little bit about it on the way going over here. But in my vision, as far as volume is concerned, it's Science Crossroads and Waynesboro.
I would agree with that.
So as somebody who was born, have I heard this right, and raised in Waynesboro?
Little Giants?
Yeah, no, I was Stuart Straff High School.
Okay, Stuart Straff High School. Okay, just making sure.
The Cougars.
The sports guy, right?
Yeah.
Always got to go there. But so, as a native, so how do you feel about the growth going out that way, and what do you?
It has really changed the fabric of the community. I think when I grew up in Waynesboro, the hub of that community were lots of large manufacturers. We had GE there, we had Thicol, we had Genacom later on. And it was a very comfortable middle-class community. It was kind of a nice combination of farmers, people that worked in the engineers in these big companies. DuPont was there. And a lot of my friends, it wasn't a highly educated area either, but people had nice lifestyles, and they had nice homes, and they could educate their kids. And you've kind of seen all of that move out of Waynesboro. I think Stuart Straff still has Hershey and some manufacturing facilities. But so you've seen kind of downtown Waynesboro die a little bit, but the growth is massive in Augusta County. And I think it's been good. I really do. I think they're bringing more businesses in, more small businesses. They have pockets of heavy development on 340 and 250. They're partnering really well with the Economic Development Commission to attract businesses there. I think it's great. And then also, I think a lot of the homeowners there do work in Charlottesville. Many do.
Well, that's the reason I brought it up.
And
So
work at UVA and
exactly
drive
right.
over here every day.
So the majority are doing east and west kind of travels, right?
That's right.
They're either coming from Lake Monticello or that area,
Absolutely.
or Waynesboro in that way. But
And both are kind of on that 64 corridor that makes it really convenient to do that. So I agree with you. I think those are probably the two next growth areas.
well, the big guys are out there from the builder perspective, right? Ryan, actually the big three: Ryan, Stanley Martin, and Atlantic. Excuse me. I apologize. Well, I guess one of the reasons I wanted to get your feedback on it is we talk a little bit about red tape, green tape, and all that kind of great stuff. And it seems like they've really, meaning the local jurisdictions out there, has really kind of made that path a little easier.
Yeah,
so I was
certainly.
Just, as a native, I was really interested in your feedback.
I think so. I think
on
they're much more lenient on zoning laws.
That question literally just has come in.
Yeah.
So this is interesting here. Kevin Higgins, who watches the program all the time, he says, loving this show. Curious, Mac, as a resident and somebody that's in finance, what impact has Albemarle County planning had on the growth of Waynesboro? That's a good question.
I'm not an expert on that, but I would suspect that many businesses that can't get through the cumbersome zoning requirements here and the planning district end up going to Waynesboro. We've never been able to get some of the large box restaurants that we've wanted. It's hard to get some drive-throughs here, and you see a lot more of that. Now, land's a lot cheaper over there.
Sure.
I think commercial property is easier to develop over there because of that. But they certainly are growing their population, so.
So I want to re-pivot back to insurance.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation, Mac and I think it was yesterday, and she shared a statistic with me, which I think is a great topic to talk about, particularly in December. And I'll let Mac take it over, but the rate of fires increased drastically this time of the year, and it really struck a chord with me because I'm the son. My father and my grandfather are all former New York City firemen, and I told Mac a little story. So my wife, Yonna, is from Austria, and it's in a tradition in Europe to put actual candles on Christmas trees, real live candles. And we do this every Christmas, and my poor father freaks out every Christmas. He's literally at the Christmas tree with two extinguishers, and our tradition is on New Year's Eve you light the candles, everybody sings Silent Night, and then we quickly put
because the Christmas tree is like the most flammable thing ever.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
So I'd love you to pick up on that. This is maybe some good information to get out.
Yeah, I think what I was kind of thinking as I was considering what I wanted to share and talk about today is 30% of all home fires start in the month of December, and nearly half of all home fires occur in December, January, February, and March. One of the leading causes of fires in December, obviously, is holiday decorations, live trees, garland too close to a fireplace, lights on trees that haven't been inspected, that have frayed wires, space heaters that overload electrical circuits, things of that nature. But the leading cause above all of that is cooking, unattended cooking. So people walk away from the stove, they're hosting holiday events, they're having wine and they're celebrating, and it's a great time with grandchildren and friends and family, and people get distracted and don't pay attention. So I think the kitchen fires are the biggest concern. And I also talked to Andrew LaPrade, who is a friend of mine, and he is a volunteer firefighter with the Stony Point Fire Department, and he sees that as well this time of year. Leading cause of fires is fireplaces and cooking.
Mrs. Miller, sweetheart, I see you watching. Please get the stockings away from the fireplace right now. They're dangling from the mantle, and we build a fire every single night.
So I wrote a note to you as my wife watching.
Yeah, your wife is watching. Please, sweetheart, get Trey's stocking off the mantle right now.
Yonna, let's not do candles this year.
Yeah, well, I'm shocked that you guys do that. I respect tradition, though.
I will take a video this year.
Please do.
And we'll share it with everybody. It's the funniest thing you ever want to see.
Yeah.
Mac, you're getting a lot of props on the show. Darlene Swith Hall, she says, I love you, Mac. I love your dad. You go, girl. You look fantastic. Gail Wardell Kahn says, Mac Williams, you are the best of the best. Tim Ryan is watching in Crozet. She is a true professional. Ran across her in banking, one of the best at her job. You're getting a lot of props from the community. Angelique Hawkins-Jenkins is watching right now. She's opening up a business in Dairy Market. Your friend Chris Henry's
absolutely.
Outstanding. Property on Preston. Throw this to you here. The gift of human connection you absolutely have. I get the impression, just from knowing you for T-minus, 29 minutes, that you just feed off people and feed off like positive energy and love seeing the people you work alongside have success in whatever endeavor they're doing.
I love that, and that's exactly how I feel. Like, I think what really makes me tick is people. I'm really, really inspired by them. I love to get to know people. I think I draw all of my energy from people. And so to have the opportunity to work directly with people, to help them, to guide them, to give them advice. And I think what's really going to make a difference in my practice is that I'm going to really try to have meaningful conversations with people, try to understand what's on their mind, what keeps them up at night, what goals they have, and then really try to structure a protection plan around that, because I think people's needs and desires change over time. Me as an empty nester certainly has different concerns than you with a young family. And we're going to bring our clients in and meet with them regularly and really be an expert source of advice so that they can make informed decisions. And I think that that's where I'm really going to be good at this job. I've been doing that my entire career, and it's really, really what I enjoy.
We talk about this on the show all the time. Folks are desperately looking for trusted advisors. You can do a search on an app, or you can get some basic information on an app. But, when, God forbid, I have an insurance claim, I don't want to have an app. I don't want to make a phone call to some call center somewhere.
Right.
I want to send a text to Mac and say, oh, my God, I need help. And Mac picks up the phone and calls me.
Right.
That has tremendous amount of value in today's marketplace.
That's the whole value proposition.
Absolutely.
Totally agree with that. Can I throw this to you?
Yeah.
What was it like? What was your mindset going through? And she touched on this already, and I can't wait for you to hear this.
Uh-oh.
And your son-in-law is watching right now, and he said,
Hey, Harry.
Ugh, the candles on the tree. It's a crazy town with these Smiths. Where is he watching? In New York?
He's in New York,
We have someone in Fairfield, Connecticut also watching the program.
Is it Joe?
No, it's my buddy Dave.
So I got a very dear friend of mine, Joe Garcia.
In Fairfield?
In Trumbull. And he just got elected into city council in Trumbull.
Congratulations.
Yeah, great guy. A comedian by profession. It's funny as anything to see it work.
I love it. How about the mindset of two kids in college, college tuition? You're kicking, and taking names as a banker.
Yeah.
And you choose to do an about face and become a small business owner. That is no easy task.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I launched mine, my family and my friends at the time tried to have an intervention to keep me from launching this business.
I think people have thought I'm crazy. I mean, I really did walk away from a really mature, successful career. But I also think that I'm entering the fourth quarter of my career, and I really want to do something that makes a difference. And I've always wanted to own my own business. I think it's exciting to be in charge of your own destiny, to be able to help people, not only my clients, but also my employees, to help develop them. To have more control over what I want to do with my life and how I want to live it. And so, yes, it's been a commitment on behalf of my family, and I appreciate all of them. They have believed in me from day one.
So reading my notes from your intro about your family, there was absolutely no doubt in my mind that they were going to support you 110%. So Yonna and I been married 33 years. We worked together every day for 33 years. We've never worked for anybody other than ourselves for 33 years. So it's challenging, but you're going to love it. And you are absolutely, we've known each other for a while, but I just, in the last, how many minutes we got?
I've known her for T-minus now 41 minutes.
So I learned more in 41 minutes from you, and I'm writing notes. Man, what a great invite. What a great guest. So,
you did well.
I did well. I find a blind squirrel finds an acorn.
You get great guests every Friday.
Well, I don't know about that.
Talking about working together, my husband, his project will end in about 8 years, and I keep telling him he can come work for me. And he's like, I already do for free.
Well, the free was never going to change.
That's right.
Your husband sounds like a man.
So speaking of your husband, I see a show here. I would love to bring him on one day to talk about I can speak English today. As a historian for Monticello, Yonna and I are huge lovers of Monticello.
He would enjoy doing that, definitely.
We have religiously gone to the naturalization ceremony every year on July 4th.
It's so moving.
Yeah.
It really is.
If you ever want to get re-energized about what it is to be an American, you go to one of those, and at the very end, everybody gets up and talks about their journey, and it's energizing to become an American. But I want to go back to insurance because we kind of keep on going back and forth.
A lot of insurance questions coming in.
But can I jump in?
Sure, yeah.
And thank you very much. You did some great notes. Just guest is unbelievable. Normally we don't get this. You put a note in here about fire detectors, and we talk about with our clients all the time about that is that religiously, when the clocks change out your batteries. So can you chime in a little bit on that?
I think some best practices for fire prevention are having a fire detector on every floor in the house and every bedroom in the house. We recommend that you change the batteries in the fire detectors every year, and you change your fire detectors out completely every 10 years. So it's crucial. Like we were saying about the kitchen fires, you really should have a fire extinguisher in the kitchen too. One thing I think maybe some of our viewers might be interested in too is what happens if you have a loss. And, basically, if you have a fire and have a loss, you should contact your agent. I think the first thing you should review are your deductibles and file a claim. You'll be assigned a claims adjuster, who will investigate the claim. But at that time, you should really take pictures of anything that's lost. And one thing that we really encourage our clients to do is to take a home inventory. And if you have a home inventory in advance, you can really document the valuables that you had in your home. So I really like to encourage all of our clients to do that. But we at State Farm really try to make the claims process as simple and painless as possible because we feel like that's the time we're really delivering on our promise to help you.
You are making insurance super cool right now. You got a lot of questions coming in. So Kevin wants to know, Mac, what are your thoughts on riders? When do you think they are beneficial? And I have literally 3 more insurance questions here to get to.
So, one thing I was going to talk about today is some of the things that are covered under homeowners insurance and some of the things that are not covered. So most weather events are covered. Lightning, wind, fire, snow and ice, sleet, things like that. Things that are not covered are earthquakes and flooding and some backups of sewers and drains. So those are really valuable other coverages that you can add onto your homeowner's policy. There are a myriad of other types of additions that you can add to your home depending on your personal situation. A personal liability umbrella policy can be good to add as well. If you have a steep driveway, if you're afraid that if you get a fire in your house and it could spread possibly to the neighbor's house, that will protect you. So I think endorsements can be very, very valuable. And when I'm consulting with my clients, I always talk to them about the endorsements that I think would be valuable on their policy.
Nice. Caitlin Mancini says, the toy lift team at Fashion Square Mall is literally watching Real Talk right now.
Let's give a shout out.
Yeah, do it.
So Caitlin, as we know, is a rock star. She's been on our show a couple of times, and she is out there probably, if I know Caitlin, about 30 or 40 feet in the air, coaching everybody to come to drop off. So if Caitlin can give out, I've forgotten where you are, if she can give out the address. And
Fashion Square Mall.
There you go. You go out there and give some toys to some needy kids. Thank you for doing that, Caitlin.
A question coming in about rental insurance. What are your thoughts about rental insurance? This is from your friend Gail.
I think everybody should have it. It protects the contents of your apartment or dwelling that you're renting. I think it's very, very important, and more owners of the rental units are requiring it as well. But you should absolutely have it to protect all of your furniture, your clothing, your valuables, your computers, that sort of thing. It's also a very reasonably priced policy. I think everyone that rents should have it, absolutely.
Another question coming in about my wife's jewelry. Michael Johnson wants to know, should I get my wife's jewelry and wedding rings insured? I think that's a yes.
Yes, I think you should. We have a personal articles policy. Some valuables and some personal property is covered under your homeowners, but if you have specialized guns, antiques, very high-valued jewelry, you should definitely get it appraised and insure that separately on our personal articles policy.
Porch pirates. Big thing.
Pirates.
Big
People
thing.
who steal packages.
Oh, yeah.
From
So
yeah.
This is a big thing this time of the year.
Yeah.
It's a big thing in the
It
news.
is.
It's becoming rampant.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a policy to protect me? So I have a policy
So,
with.
a few things we recommend to people with deliveries is try to get it delivered to a neighbor if you're not going to be home, to your place of work, or have a signature to be able to pick up your package. We don't have anything that protects against that. You'll have to seek recourse through the company that you purchased the goods through. But one thing related to that is identity theft. And a lot of people doing online shopping this time of year. A lot of people shopping and dropping their credit card or credit card numbers getting stolen when you are making a purchase. So we do have identity theft
Oh, really?
and identity
I did
fraud
not know that.
protection. Yeah.
You're getting a lot of love here. Let's highlight some of the people. Susan Rogers, giving you props. Nestle Birch, John Stevens, Leslie Copley,
Great.
Naomi
Thanks,
Vinay,
friends.
Jesse Rutherford. We got Chris Turner and Crozet. Susan Gaines says, this is great, great, great advice. Great job, Mac Weems. Give it a like and a share. If you'd like to relay any positive commentary to Mac, put it in the comment section of any of the 12 Facebook pages that you're watching this show on. Throw this to you. You've gotten up to speed so quickly on everything. I mean, you have the answers like this. How did that happen?
So this has been a big commitment. I left my current employer in March and took about a month off to clear my head. And then in April, I started a 6-month-long training program, an agent development program with State Farm. And it's an intensive program where I do a lot of self-study, and then I go to intensive study weeks with other groups of agents starting up agencies all over the country. And it was basically insurance boot camp. It was an extremely rewarding and valuable experience. And I think just that with my other work experience, I've understood insurance.
You get business.
I've kind of got the business instinct.
About to say, Mac, if it was anything, you would be really good at it. I sat on the other side of the table of Mac because Mac, when she was with the lender, was lending our construction money for Nassau Street for the land trust, and I've borrowed quite a bit of money before with folks to do projects. I've never had such a simple, easy path as working with Mac, and we ran into we really were way outside of everybody's comfort zone.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean, let's put it this way: we got nearly a 7-figure amount of loan from them with like no P&L. We had nothing.
Right. No history.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I think talking about why should people come and work with me, I think, there's relationships, obviously, and the expertise, but I think I'm going to deliver for you.
Yeah.
I have the expertise and the business savvy to know when something can be done or when it can't, when it's going to be expensive or not. And I tell you quickly, and I really want that client experience to be the singular thing that defines me and makes people want to work with me.
So saying no quickly
It's huge.
is huge, and that's a value. It may hurt. It's like taking a Band-Aid off. How do you do it?
Right.
You rip it off immediately, not little bit of pieces on it. But there's a tremendous amount of value and professionalism. We talk about this all the time. I have 3 things that come up on my phone: be professional, be caring, and be trustworthy.
Right. Like empathy is huge. And
Exactly
think about
right.
this business. A lot of times when we're interacting with our clients, it's when something bad has happened to them. A deer
Sure.
has hit their car, their daughter's been in a wreck, there's been a death in the family. I think having empathy and really caring about what you do is something that is at the core of this.
So I went to the doctor yesterday, and they say, "Hey, how you doing? How's things going?" I said, "Look, if I was doing good, would I be here?" Right? Yeah. I didn't stop in to say, "Hi, have Merry Christmas. I got a problem. I need you to fix it." And it wasn't a psychologist, okay?
All right, it's okay if you were going to see. There's nothing wrong with therapy. Let's throw this to you. Thank some of our sponsors, Marie Bett and Roy Wheeler Realty.
Yeah, so we'll start with Roy Wheeler. So Michael Guthrie will be sitting in this chair next Friday because Yonna and I are going to be celebrating our grandson's first birthday. So
Great.
we'll be seeing Harry and little Harry and Yasmina up north.
Harry says, "Oh, the Smiths."
Yeah.
How about Marie Bett? Don't say, be nice to Harry. I like Harry.
Yeah. It's right. You never met him, but
I feel like I know him.
You totally
because
know
of
Harry.
the show. How about Marie Bett?
Yeah, so we love those guys over there. We have breakfast there almost every morning. I have lunch there probably every other day. But they're just a huge supporters, and we just love those guys over there. They get it right, and they just do great things back to the community. So,
How about the transition, Mac? We're going to throw to you October 1, you buy the business. We're now almost Jan 1, okay? Mm-hmm. How's it going?
It's going great.
What's the day-to-day look like for you?
We are a very busy agency. I was fortunate enough to have a great team. I had kept 2 of the team members that had been with the previous agent for nearly 10 years. One is a life specialist and the other is a property casualty specialist. And they've been instrumental in helping me to get the team up and ready and going. We have a great energy in our office. We have a lot of trust already. We were talking yesterday about how when you start something new, be it boot camp or your year on a college freshman dorm, you have this kind of funny bonding experience, and we all feel like we've worked together a lot longer than we really have. So it's been really good. We all bring something different to the table. I think we're learning a lot from each other, and we're already really delivering a lot of good stuff to our clients.
I can't wait to see your face everywhere. I'm so excited. Hair's looking good. You look great. Am I going to see your face everywhere?
You will at every billboard.
Yes.
Cat bus in town.
You guys having fun?
Oh, I'm having a great time. She's awesome.
I told you. Commercial insurance, you dabble in that at all?
We sure do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
And that, I think, is going to be an area, a niche that I really want to get into. We do a lot of small business policies. I think home-based businesses often are very underinsured or not insured at all. Small business clients are some of the best clients that we have at State Farm, because if you work with their business, then you can also work with their personal family stuff. Many times they have recreational vehicles, they have homes, they have vacation homes. So the opportunity with them is great. But if you combine that with my banking background and understanding of finance, I think I could really add some value to that.
So why do you think most small businesses are underinsured? I hear that quite regularly, and as you know, Yonna and I do some consulting and business management.
Well, I think what I was referring to is people that run businesses out of their home.
Sure.
Many times they think that that's covered under their homeowner's policy, where they really need a business owner's policy to cover some of the liability risks.
So let's talk about that for a second. So
Sure.
I have a home business, right? I think my homeowner's policy is covering it. What would be some things that wouldn't cover, right, if you were in a small business scenario?
Well, if it really is a true business pursuit, most likely it will not be covered under
On
your
anything.
homeowners. No.
Really?
So
Good for you.
you
Someone
need,
walking in, falling, hurting themselves.
right, or suing you.
Yeah, liability is what I was
for
thinking.
negligence.
Yeah.
Your liability coverage on your homeowners most likely will not cover that. And I can't speak for everyone's policies, but most likely, if you are running any type of business out of your home, you should be looking at getting a small business policy and liability insurance with that.
Well, I would go one step further than that, because a lot of folks don't do this, but they should have their own LLC, their own limited liability corporation. And it's relatively inexpensive to do that. But the liability is huge, depending on the business, right?
Then you just fold out LLC and you compartmentalize the risk. It doesn't impact the other portfolio.
Right.
But, again, like I said, we do some coaching and mentoring, and some folks just are so wrapped up in the doing, right, which is good. They sometimes don't look at that end of it, and then, God forbid, there's a need.
Well, and even some of the smaller businesses, home cleaning, lawn care, things like that, they should really have insurance. They could damage your home, they could break something. They should really have insurance. And I think a lot of people bring people into their home to conduct work, and maybe they don't evaluate if they're properly insured.
This question coming in is thinking about Charlottesville insurance history. This is from Kevin. Who do you consider legends in the industry in this market?
I think, two of the people that I admire the most are probably Gary Albert and Hunter Wyant at State Farm. They're two of the best agents, I think, in our agency force nationwide, and we're very lucky to have them here. They're very knowledgeable. They're very passionate about their businesses. They both operate multiple locations, and so I think as I start my career in this business, those are the people that I want to model my behavior after.
I just couldn't think of a better answer than that. That's just, again, we focus on relationships and building relationships, and whoever is watching this show, which is apparently quite a few folks, which I'm
a popular gal over here.
very excited about it, will walk away from this that if you engage Mac to help you, you will get 110% of Mac. So my good friend and cohort here to the left knows this. Sometimes I send things out a little early in the morning. So
I got a text from him at 6:57 a.m. today. It was
What?
awesome. It was awesome.
You don't need an alarm.
6:57.
but it wasn't 5:30.
No,
I'm
it
getting
wasn't
better.
5:30. He's getting better. 6:57, everybody. Keith Smith is texting me.
But it was funny because Mac and I are kind of cut from the same cloth
Okay.
because we were going to have a conversation, and she
Right.
gave me time options, and she said 7:30 in the morning. I said, I'm on it. and 7:30 in the morning,
That's
I
when it
caught
happened.
Mac on the way to help a client. So, we talk about this all the time. The people you want to work with, it's all in 110% of the time, 100% of their effort into it, and Mac clearly brings that to the table.
You know who else is all in? Pearl Certification and Charlottesville Settlement Company.
I was trying to hope for a segue for you to
I
do.
just did it for you.
Our chemistry is just getting
We're on point.
we're getting a little bit
We're on
better
point.
every show. So Pearl Certification, we love them to death. They were here a couple of weeks ago. We've using the heck out of their product. Please, Google them, get on their website, take their little app test on your house, and they're going to work some magic for you. And Charlottesville Settlement, there's nothing more to say about that. They just make magic happen all the time. So give them a phone call.
Mac, we're going to run the gauntlet with you here very shortly, where we're going to fire questions at you. Before we do that, I know you are such a goal-oriented person here. What do you want to see from your business over the next, say, 1, 3, and 5 years?
Well, definitely growth. That's my goal. I think, first of all, I want to be financially sound so that I can continue the viability of the business for myself, for my family, and for my employees, and be there to serve our customers. So financial wellness and strength is top of my priority. I want to really, as I said, focus more on business insurance and grow that book of business in my practice. I think it's a natural fit with me. I'd like to achieve some of the prestigious sales goals within State Farm. They have chairman's level, different levels of achievement hurdles and benchmarks. But you're right, I'm a highly competitive person.
I sense that.
Yeah, and I enjoy the competition.
So, and in the total, I know we have triplets, but out of the total 5 young ladies in your family, who's the oldest, who's the youngest?
So I have a sister 8 years older, a sister 4 years older, and then it's the triplets. And it's kind of funny. I read a birth order book recently, and when there's the big gap between children, oftentimes it starts over in birth order. So I'm kind of like the number.
So of the triplets, right? So
I'm like
somebody
the oldest.
there has to be one that's a little bit older.
I'm a little bit older, and I'm kind of like the oldest, the oldest daughter in the family.
Yeah. So you're in a house full of female young sisters.
But they listen to me.
That was said.
Someone tag her sisters on this show right now.
I got to tell you, when she said that, I got a chill up my back.
Dude, when she said that, I'm like, okay, I'll do whatever you want. Here's my
I was
money.
like about to say, where do I send the check?
I know, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm so sorry. Here's more money. Here's more money.
Let me throw this to you. What's the triplet dynamic like? I mean, you hear so many like twins and triplet stories. I mean,
Yeah.
are you guys thinking alike? Do you guys know, anything like that?
So I'm the fraternal in the set of triplets. So my sisters are identical, and they're very much alike. They're the same physical build. They often wear the same clothes. They're highly competitive, but the 3 of us are very, very close. We talk daily, many times a day. They both live in the Raleigh-Durham area, and usually when I go to visit, they fight over how many nights I'm staying with one versus the other and that sort of thing. At one point in time, they almost built houses next door to each other, so they're very close. And my twins are close as well. They're living together at William & Mary next year, and they're just soul sisters. It's just the most beautiful relationship I've seen, so I've been witness to it in a very close way twice in my life, and it's a very special bond between identical twins.
That's awesome.
That's an awesome answer. That's really, we talked about this before. You were maybe a little nervous before you coming on.
I'm still nervous.
You're crushing it.
Oh my!
You're
well,
getting
would
a
not,
grand slam right now, lady.
You would not be able to see that. So we ready to do it?
Oh, let's do it. Let's run the gauntlet. Let's give some love to Mike Bittrick.
Yeah. So Mike is actually helping us out on a couple of deals. Mike, much like yourself and Mac, gets a 5:30 in the morning text from me. Hey, I got this client. Can you connect with him and take care of it? And he says, got it. So, you can't do any better than that.
I love it.
Then
First Heritage Mortgage.
Then he yells at me for texting him at 5:30.
I only get yelled at by my wife. All right, so here's the gauntlet. And the gauntlet, Mac, is we're going to fire questions at you.
Oh.
You cannot think.
No one told me about that.
First thing, we don't tell anybody.
We never tell anybody.
No.
It's strategic.
No, you're leaving?
First thing that comes to mind, you got to answer.
It's fun.
Okay, no filter.
It's fun.
No filter.
And how many minutes do we do this for?
We're going to do this for roughly 9 minutes.
No,
So we each have some. Yeah, we're going to do this.
Trust us. Famous last words. Trust us.
Trust us, says Keith Smith and Jerry Miller. You going first?
I am.
Okay.
So you've kind of touched it a little bit, but this is my first question I've always asked, right? What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given and why? Off the top of your head.
I guess just never give up. Just keep going.
I would have not expected a different answer out of you, actually.
Yeah. I think my other favorite saying nowadays, too, is, and it's a piece of advice, is assume positive intent. I think when you do that, it just flips everything around. And I think it helps to deepen those relationships that we were talking about. When you have a misunderstanding with someone or disagreement or a professional disagreement, just assume that people are coming from the best place, because most of the time they are. I truly believe that.
Isn't that solely lacking in today's world?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That I don't even I don't even look at any of the news anymore because it's just disgusting.
Right.
That's exactly right. Hey, I learned that when I was a 19-year-old Marine and sitting down between two ambassadors. I was guarding at the time, and they told me, what makes us different than everybody else is I try to explain something to you in a way that you understand it, even though we don't agree. Mm-hmm. And I also assume exactly what you just said. Whatever conversation you're having with me is from a place of love and truth and what you truly believe. You're not out trying to hurt me.
Right, and I think when you do that and you're not suspicious of people's intentions, it just makes everything go better.
You just can put your head on the pillow a lot easier, right?
I think so, too.
Relaxed.
Right, I feel I can shave in the morning. I'm a better person. I've done the right thing, and if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. But you can move on.
Your favorite restaurant in Charlottesville, Virginia, and why?
Tavola.
Nice,
Ooh.
good taste.
Yeah,
Why?
Because the food is delicious.
Yeah.
I love the eggplant. We like the fennel. I think they have a great wine selection. I love the waitstaff. It's been our favorite since we've been here.
Good answer.
So between that and Alley Light is like the go.
I love Alley Light.
My go-to.
Are you guys foodies?
Yes, we are.
What is a short list of restaurants you go to?
So, we love Moss. We love Alley Light. We like the Pizza Lampo.
Yeah. Man, you love the Belmont eateries.
I do. I love the Brussels sprout salad at Lampo. It's really good. And I don't know. We really do love a lot of the restaurants in the downtown mall. Like BZ's always been one of my favorites.
So we're sitting at the Alley Light bar.
Uh-huh.
You and Yonna?
No, this is my question.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
What drink are we having? I know what I'm ordering. What are you ordering?
I would probably have a gin gimlet.
Nice.
I'm a classy lady
This is going to be...
That's like you.
Is my wife watching?
She is watching. She just said woman power. You're crushing it.
Yeah. Mac, I'm falling in love with you every conversation we're having. We're like the same people. I wasn't
It's my wife watching, and then you follow with that. I love you.
we're just going to spend the week together. I'm going to get. If I don't.
Just don't say your home address now, like you've done in the past.
I mean, 35 Acre Lane.
Don't say it anymore, Keith.
But yeah, so mine is a gin martini.
Oh,
but
very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, very similar. So.
You got another question? Ask her the go-to question.
Yeah. So, a bit of a trick question.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. If you happen to find yourself on a deserted island and you only have one book with you, or you can take one book with you, what would that book be?
I think the book would be Unbroken. It's the book that was written about the Air Force pilot in World War II that was shot down when he was flying over the Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
And he lived for weeks on a lifeboat, and then he was taken into a prisoner of war camp in Japan. And the story is a story of resilience and of patience and of faith and of not giving up. And he really was kind of redeemed at the end of his life. And he had his struggles too. You know, the whole experience was very traumatic for him. And so when he got out of the Army, he had a really difficult time in his marriage and with some substance abuse, but he really pulled himself together. And by the end of his life, he had established camps for teens to come and clean themselves up. So it's just a really uplifting, great story, engrossing, and one of my favorite books.
What a great answer.
Yeah, that's a heck of an answer.
That's a heck of an answer.
Yeah.
I can't even make my joke.
You can't make your joke
I
now.
can't make my joke
Oh,
now.
no.
After
Or your joke almost verbatim.
Should I
It's
would I have said like Snoopy go home or something?
No, this is make the joke.
Well, I'm a Marine, so mine would be the Marine Corps Survival Manual.
Ah.
But in essence, you did answer that, though,
Yeah,
right? You know, some
right.
people answer the Bible, which could be a
Can't argue
survival
with that either.
survival manual.
Yeah.
But that was I think of all the guests that we had, one or two people only really said a survival manual.
I think, and one of
Right.
them was a Marine.
One of them was a Marine.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, and a lot of this is kind of about survival.
That's the reason
Because he is surviving.
I think so.
And when he jumped out of the plane, actually back then the maps were on silk handkerchiefs. I mean, you think about the equipment we have in our cars now and how much more sophisticated
Wow.
it is than what the pilots in our Air Force were flying with back then.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
How about this question for you? As a business owner, a social entrepreneur, you are, you're committed to keeping a business in the black, but leaving the community in a better place than when you first arrived. Throw that whole conscious capitalist mindset to you of how you can make this community better as a business owner.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that's going to be really, really important to me. I've served on a lot of boards here in Charlottesville over the years, most recently on AHIP, which I'm really passionate about, affordable housing in Charlottesville. I'm on the board or on the Grant Selection Committee of Women United in Philanthropy. And so I definitely, through my State Farm agency, will support local charities, and I will also capitalize on some of State Farm Corporate's programs. We have a Quotes for Good program where if I'm taking quotes during the month of December, let's say, I can donate a certain percentage of or a dollar amount for each quote received to a charity.
Nice.
We have a foundation, so if I give funds to a local charity, they will do matching funds.
Nice.
So we definitely have some resources within State Farm to maximize that type of charitable giving and investment in our community, and we really believe in it. It's really part of our whole belief system at State Farm.
Great answer.
Give to Toy Lift.
Toy Lift's watching right now.
give
At
some-
Toy Lift, they're watching.
Give Toy Lift.
Yeah.
Your favorite vineyard? I follow your Facebook page pretty closely. I'm curious
You like
about
mine?
this answer.
I do like mine.
Okay.
I think right now my favorite vineyard is Mount Ida. I just think it's beautiful.
Love
there.
that one.
It's so pretty. But I did have the privilege of going to Sonoma with some friends last year, and I think my favorite winery there was McCrosty, and it
Okay.
was just this fabulously beautiful modern place with delicious wine and great views, and we had the best time.
How did you and your husband meet? Give us the love story in T-minus 30 seconds.
Okay, we met through my college roommate, Julie Trevy.
Okay. At JMU.
Yes, she left JMU and came here to study, get her Master's of History, introduced me to my husband. I asked him to go out to a movie. He was finishing up his PhD. He told me he was probably too busy to do that. And then I got home and he called within minutes. So I always tease him that,
Smart guy.
Yeah. So he's just a terrific guy and loves his work. And it's been a really good marriage.
What was the movie?
Oh, let's see. I think it may have been I'm trying to think. I think it may have been.
Did you guys watch the movie, Mac?
Oh. I think it may have been a movie with. I'm trying to think of the name of it. I can't think of the name.
Well, if you can't remember the name of it, then we know it was a good first date.
That's right.
So, empty nesting. We've been empty nesters for quite a while. How you and your husband do you look at that a little bit differently than your husband?
You know, I really went through a mourning period
Yeah.
with it last year. It was hard.
Yeah.
And I lost my father about the same time. And so you start to see a lot of important roles and roles that you have taken a lot of pride in as a woman, as a mother, as a daughter, start to kind of roll away from you. But once I kind of got past it, I really have enjoyed this phase of our life. It's given my husband and I a lot of quality time together to enjoy each other and experience new things. It's given me a new perspective on my daughters. I'm very proud of them and seeing how they're developing into productive young human beings. And how can you not want that?
And they're close. It's 2 hours.
Well, and the
it's just-
dynamic though is twins. I'm trying to process that
Yeah.
as being an empty nester. That's like a double header, right?
It really was, and I really was very blue for about 6 months, but I snapped out of it, and I think it's a natural progression. You want to see your kids become contributing, independent adults.
Condolences on the loss of your father.
Thank you.
But there is a bit of grieving process after that. I know I struggled with it because our youngest daughter, who's a JMU grad, was a Division I swimmer, and I was that crazy swim dad, right?
And so that was the big part of your social life.
It was from the time that she was 6 until she went
Right.
to college. I was at the pool with her every morning at 5:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Right.
And so we were, and that separation was extremely difficult for me.
Yeah.
My wife was like, okay, you can stop being a helicopter dad. You can stop being a helicopter
Right.
dad. But once I got beyond that, it's amazing how our relationship has grown. Not that our relationship wasn't great, but it's now like the conversation I have with her is not as a daughter, but as a woman, as a adult.
Right.
And we have adult conversations and stuff like that. Well, okay, at least she has adult conversations. She's a 4th grade teacher, so maybe she's used to dealing with 4th graders and people at my level. So.
This is a fabulous show. Why don't you give everyone one more snapshot on why they should work alongside Mac Weems State Farm?
Because I can be trusted. I will be a good advisor to you. I will offer you options and solutions and let you make choices as an informed consumer that are within your budget. And we will take care of you. We will make you feel loved and taken care of and be reliable and be there with you every step of your journey.
So I can answer that question a little bit better. All you got to do is watch this show, and if you don't want to work with you, then you just don't get it. So you did outstanding. Thank you so
you.
much.
So easy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome anytime you want.
Please.
Thank you.
Please, made us better today. This show is powered by the Yes Team Realtors, Keith and Yonna Smith, guys, trusted advisors. Again, trusted advisors. You need it in any aspect of business. What we're going to do with today's show is the following. We will syndicate it across 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts, an e-newsletter that goes out to 118,000 inboxes. We'll put it all over our Instagram that reaches almost 12,000 people, on iTunes, on ILoveCVille.com, and very soon on the Yes Team Realtors website, which I'm very excited about.
Well, it looks like January 1 will go live.
Okay, January 1. I like it. This is Real Talk, an insider's guide to real estate. And frankly, just a way to feel better about your life and spotlighting Charlottesville and Central Virginia in a positive way. I'm Jerry Miller for Keith Smith and Mac Weems. Enjoy your Friday and your weekend. Take care. Joe, you crushed it.
Thank you.
Joe,
Appreciate it.
Good work.
Good gracious. That was a long hour.
You did great. Flew by. Now we gotta go to the hero picture.